This class is on GT writing task 1, that is the letter. And it's very important to organize the letter into paragraphs as it helps in building a coherent response. So basically, this class is one of the three classes which I've planned for the GT students. And this will be a very comprehensive class talking about the first type of letter that is seen, that is the formal letter. So there are three letters, three formal, informal and semi-formal, three types of letters that can be seen. So today we'll be discussing the formal letters. So first thing that is important is that you should organize your letter into paragraphs, because when you make a bulk block right like that, it makes no sense. So organize it into small paragraphs. That is important. And most commonly used structure I am telling, there can be other ways of writing, but then this is enough for the GT students, and my students have gone even up to 8 bands, and many of them 7.5 and 8 bands also with this structure. So first thing that is important is the salutation. An example is dear sir or dear John. In any letter, when you write the top, dear sir, dear madam, dear John, dear Mr. Smith, these are the examples of salutations, and there should always be a comma after that. Then the opening statement, that is the purpose of the letter. And after the purpose, you have to mention also, you have to mention in any formal letter, you must also write who you are, your introduction. Then there is this body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and body paragraph 3. There are three bullet points beneath each letter main heading, and you have to cover all these in these body paragraphs. You may cover them in the order they are given, or you may cover them in any order, but they all should be covered. And then the closing statement, the closing line, this is very important. This should be one separate line. Um, for example, hoping to see you soon, looking forward to hearing a prompt response from you, like that. That is the closing line. That is very important. And then the signing off, that is yours sincerely, yours lovingly, yours faithfully, yours truly, anything of that. And then your name. And you can write your name, it doesn't matter. Now, these are the three types of letters that are seen formal. These first two are formal. First formal is with no name. That means on the top you can write dear sir or madam, dear sir or dear madam, comma. And then at the bottom you have to close it like yours faithfully. Then it should always be followed by a comma. And faithfully, F is small. But if in a formal letter you begin with a surname, that is dear Mr. Sharma, then you close it with yours sincerely, S small, and then a comma after that. And the semi-formal letter is example of letter is to a neighbor, that is neither formal nor informal, that is a semi-formal letter. Or it is to a colleague who is working in your office, who is neither a friend nor formal, that is a semi-formal letter. And then third is informal letter. In semi-formal letter, of course, there will be the name at the top, dear Ramesh or dear Sonia or anything like that. Then a comma, of course, and you will end it with yours truly. This is very important, and you must note the spellings of truly. In true, you write TRUE, but in truly, the E goes off. And then the informal letter is to a friend or to family, but family letters I've not seen yet in the IELTS. It's mostly to a friend, and you begin it with dear and then the friend's name, and then end it with yours lovingly. So, this is the common format of the IELTS letter. This should be followed, and this has, there's no need to do impress the examiner with any different type of openings and closings, because this is not the time to impress the examiner. The main aim is that you should be able to complete the letter, proofread the letter, all in within 20 minutes, and that is not a very long time, and you have to do it all. Do at least 2 3 proofreadings. So write very simple way, and just imagine the real life scenario when you get any letter, and then if you frame a letter, it will automatically come out to be very good. So here are some examples of the formal letters that I've taken out for you from the past actual exam letters which have been seen, and these are being repeated. So you must look into these only. So the first letter is write a letter to the local authorities for requesting additional sports facilities for your age group in your area. Now note your age group and in your area. Okay, you can be any age group, but then you have to frame a letter requesting them for your age group. Okay, so in your letter you have to mention about the current sports facilities available. Current is at present whatever are there, then what kind of additional sports facilities should be introduced, and how the new sports facilities would be a help for the people in your age group. So this is the letter, and then you begin it with dear sir. Sometimes it is written, you may begin your letter with dear sir or madam or dear Mr. Jones or whatever like that. So if you are given something, you can begin like that. But if you are not given something, you just begin with dear sir or dear madam, and then in the very first line you have to give the purpose, and in the second sentence of any formal letter you have to give your introduction, who you are. So this will also give a uh, message to the examiner that you are mentioning your age group from what you are doing. Okay, so, sort of your age group will come out from there. So imagine a real life scenario. You want sports facilities, you already have some sports facilities, you want some more sports facilities, you are writing to the authorities to add some, you have to mention the present, you have to ask about what additional facilities you want, and then you also want to tell the person how those facilities would be of help to the people in your age group. And then after that you have to close it, and because you've opened the letter with dear sir, your closing will be yours faithfully. Okay, so hoping for a careful consideration is the closing line, and these three paragraphs are the three things that have been asked in small paragraphs. All right, so this is for you. This file will be shared, and of course, you can read. And in the end, I'll also give you one homework. Okay, then the second letter is again a formal letter, because today I'm touching on the formal letters only. Write a letter to the manager of a hotel where you stayed and left two important things. Now, you stayed in a hotel. Imagine the real life scenario. You forgot two important things. And then you have to write a letter to the manager to find those things and send them to you. Give details of your stay, why those two things are important, how he can return the things to you. So basically, you're going to request. So this is a formal letter of request. It's very important that you identify for what you are writing. It can be a letter of apology, it can be a letter of request, it can be a letter of, any such letter. Okay, so you must know what it is. So here it is, I am writing this letter to request you, which I to check for my things which I accidentally left in my hotel room. Then your introduction, then which hotel you were in, then describe the two things and why they are important, and then how that person can return those two things to you. uh, this setting has automatically been disturbed somehow while I copy pasted it from the book. But anyways, you should read these letters on your own, and if you have any problem you can tell me, but basically I've given you the way how you can write it. And I'd like to cover some letters. Here it is, hoping to hear from you soon regarding this matter. Yours sincerely, Indrup Makkad. So you have written your name here, so that name only you write at the end. Okay. So this is how you make this letter. Then there's another thing here. Instead of hoping to hear from you soon, mostly after two, we do not use the ing form. But if you write looking forward to, then as a phrase after that, you can write the ing form. So you have to write the ing, looking forward to hearing from you soon. So that would be correct. And then it will create an impression also, because after this phrase, after two, there is the ing form. So you can do like that. You can mug up these, looking forward to receiving something, or looking forward to seeing you soon in an informal letter, looking forward to hearing from you soon regarding this matter. So this is how you frame the formal letter. The third letter is, the company you worked for has decided to close the cafeteria as the staff is not using it much. You are not happy with the decision. So the company you're working, they have decided cafeteria will be closed now because nobody is using it much, but you are not happy. Then you have to write to the director, give reasons of low usage, why the cafeteria is being used less. You have to tell him and how that closing decision of closing the cafeteria decision will affect the staff, and then suggest ways to improve the cafeteria so that they don't need to close it. Okay, so this all these three things you will cover here. You will write a purpose to express my resentment, to express apni narazgi, express my resentment about your decision, and then then why it is not used much, and then why, what else can be done. Okay, and then hoping for a careful consideration regarding this matter. Looking forward to, you can say looking forward to, that will be putting that, looking forward to, um, looking forward to, then ing form you have to put na, looking forward to getting a prompt response regarding this matter. Regarding this matter from your, then from your side will be extra. That is it. Yours faithfully, and then your name. Okay, then this is the next letter. You traveled abroad and faced some problems at the airport. Write a letter to the airport manager. In your letter, provide your flight details, what the problem was, suggest some improvement you want to see. So basically, this problem is at the airport, not with your airline company. It's at the airport. Okay. So here you have to, frame. I always tell my students, imagine a real life scenario, and then you will write. Then you frame a story. You have to frame a story. So in that way, I feel the GT letter, that is task one, is a bit more difficult than what academic students get, because academic students have to write a graph, and in the graph there is nothing much they can do. They see a picture and they just have to describe it. But in a GT letter, you have to frame a story. You have to make cook a story, and then you have to write. So basically, opening lines, to complain about, you faced a problem, so this is a letter of complaint. Then you have to detail flight details, and what the problem was you have to put in that. And then in the lost and found section, you are telling them, the lost and found department where you faced problem, you giving some suggestions what can be done. Whatever has been asked in the letter, you have to cover all that, because otherwise it will be incomplete. Okay, so this is the letter, and then hoping for a prompt action from you regarding this matter. Then this next letter is again a formal letter. You have recently faced a problem at the airport. An employee of the airport helped you with this matter. Write a letter to the airport manager and say what the problem was, how that person helped you. Suggest the manager to praise the employee in some way. Dear sir, I'm writing this letter to thank one of your employees, Mr. Rohit Basu. So like that, this is a letter of thanks because an employee helped you. So this is a letter of thanks to thank one of your employees. One of your ke baad hamesha plural. So that is one of your employees. And then your introduction. And then you cover what has been asked in the letter in the next paragraphs. And then you have to cook a story. So story cooking that story is very important. And then think about that, and then you have to write yours faithfully and your name, because here it is dear sir, there's no name over here. And then next is again another formal letter, and let's see this letter. You have an appointment with the manager of a bank, and now you realize that you can't make it for that. So you had an appointment with the manager, now you cannot make it, and you have to this is you have an appointment but you cannot make it, you cannot go on that day. So you have to cook a story why you cannot go on that day, and that you have to ask for any other dates. So this is a in this there are two motives to write. One is to apologize that already you fixed a plan, um, but you cannot make it on that day, so you will be apologizing to the manager, but at the same time you will also be requesting the manager to give you some other date. So this is in the future that there is a meeting, but you will not be able to make it for that meeting, and you are requesting the um, manager at the same time to schedule another date for the meeting. Okay, so see here, letter to apologize, then your introduction, and then also request you to. So this is a letter of apology and request at the same time. Okay, so then you have to give details about your appointment, why you cannot go. You have to write that on why you cannot come on that day, go for that meeting on that day. And then uh, you have to think of a solid reason for that, and so that it doesn't look um, odd that you are canceling your appointment. And the bank officer should also realize, the bank manager should also realize that it is your problem, it is not, you cannot do anything about it. Okay, and then you have to request, and then once again, I apologize for the inconvenience and thank you for your kind consideration. And then you have to write yours faithfully, because this is you have not written any name on top, so it will be yours faithfully. Had you written a name on top, it would have been sincerely here. Okay, had you written a name on top, it would have been sincerely here. Now this is another letter here. Write a letter to a restaurant manager to organize a party. Again, a formal letter. You have to organize a party for someone. You have to write a letter to the restaurant manager, and then again it starts with dear sir or madam. Then this is a letter to book the restaurant's banquet hall. So this is not request, this is not apology, this is not. So it's to book a banquet hall for the party. And then you have to talk about the party and cook a story about special arrangements you will need and any relevant questions you want to ask. And then you fix that party, and then how you end it. Looking forward to hearing from you soon regarding this matter. Yours faithfully. Then you have to write your name, which you wrote at the top, because in the second sentence of that you have to write, my name is Sumit. You have to give your introduction, a formal letter, first sentence purpose, second sentence your introduction. All right, then the next letter here, this is again a formal letter. You have a spare room in your flat apartment and you want to rent it to a student. Write a letter to the accommodation officer, and then you have to um, explain where your apartment is, why you want to rent, and what sort of person would you like to rent it to. And then this is the you know this is a letter of request, that tenant, to find a spare, to find a roommate for you. Okay, then find a tenant for your spare room. Okay, you have to write to the accommodation officer. You have to imagine a real life scenario over there, and then only you will be able to frame a good story, a convincing story. Okay, and then looking forward to hearing from you soon regarding this matter. And then your name. Okay, yours faithfully, because at the top you have not written the name, so it will be yours faithfully at the bottom. Okay, then this is the next letter here. This is again a formal letter. College asked its graduates to give a speech to the current students. Okay, and you would like to participate. Write a letter, what you want to talk about, why you think the students would be interested in it. You have to imagine a real life scenario. You've been asked by your college, they know now you are well settled. They're asking you to address the current students and tell them that you are also from that school or college, and then you are, you are doing well now, and you'll guide the students what they should do in life. Okay, so here again in the opening lines, thank you for giving me the response, giving me the opportunity to address the current students. And then you have to tell them very convincingly what you can talk to the current students about, so that the college or school would also be interested to invite you further, and you know um, and make it good for their current students. Okay, and then this is the letter. And then I have one letter for homework for you, and that letter is That letter is you were sent by your company to attend a meeting in another country, but you are not happy with the hotel you organized and booked for you. Then you have to write to your letter counselor about your, these things, the meeting you attended, the complaint you had. I have written this letter here, but I'm cutting it off because I would like you to write it. Okay. So I'm giving you one homework. I'll give you two homeworks, right? That is it. That is it. So here I'll be giving you two homeworks, and let's see. Okay, I'll explain those letters to you. So that this is you're sent by your company to attend a meeting in another country, but you're not happy with the hotel your organizer booked for you. Write a letter to your organizer about this. And then this second letter, you found a small bag somewhere, the owner's address and name was there, and then you have to write a letter to the owner. You have to inform where you found the bag, inform about the contents of the bag, suggest how he or she can collect it. So this is about the letters, the formal letters. Okay, so two homeworks are there. You must complete these homeworks and you must write them down and send them, click a picture and send them at my phone number, which is uh, on WhatsApp. Okay, on this number send me that, and you must mention your name and from which group you are, and only then that will be checked and the feedback will be given to you very nicely. Thank you very much for attending.